Yeah, because yours is loud. Why don't we trade?
Check.
Hello?
Check.
There you go.
This sounds better.
Okay,
All right.
we're good.
Welcome to Binge Worthy. We have a very special episode tonight with a very special guest.
Hello.
Here's how the show works, and then I'll let you introduce yourselves. The way the show works, we binge out a TV show or a podcast, or that's going to cover you online, Mel. Nobody's going to be able to see you.
I'm hiding.
We binge something, and then we discuss it. We find out what we thought about it, and then we tell you whether we think it's binge-worthy or not.
Knock the cup.
This week, we're doing something that we did binge, not recently because it's so huge, but we did a binge-worthy of Once Upon a Time. And because we did this as a family, so we have a very special guest tonight. Why don't you introduce yourself, guest?
I am Molly Southgate.
Hi, Molly. Welcome to the show. When we started this show, it's called Ever After. My mom's wearing the sweatshirt right now. When we started this show, Molly, it was her idea for the show, but she was the youngest host of a podcast on iTunes when we did that.
She was 6.
She was 6. So now she's old enough that child labor laws have gone out of effect, so we're good, right?
No,
You're 16?
Yep.
All right.
No.
And then on that end,
Martha Southgate.
and I'm Rob Southgate. We're the co-owners of Southgate Media Group, all three of us.
Yep.
So some of us do more work than others. Stupid editing.
Yeah, Molly.
Molly, yes, she did all the homework tonight.
She did all the research for this one.
So
You did nothing.
I did nothing.
let's jump into it. Why don't you give us some information about Once Upon a Time? Does anybody here watch Once Upon a Time?
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Then you're going to like
Okay.
this conversation.
No, don't be embarrassed.
We
We
love
love
it.
Yeah.
It's an awesome show. You're going to learn something too. And then it's going to go, the more you know. No,
Oh,
you know
no.
what? We have no spoilers.
No.
And we don't do that anyway.
And it starts up next week. So we've been on a good hiatus here for a little while.
Yep.
So we're excited to get back in.
It was created by Edward Kittis, I think.
Kitsis.
And Adam Horowitz. I'm saying that right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. It is starring Jennifer Morrison as Emma Swan, Lana Parrilla as Regina, Jennifer Goodwin as Snow White, Josh Dallas as Prince Charming, Jared S. Gilmore as Henry,
Emily.
Emily D. Raven as Belle, Robert Carlyle as Rumpelstiltskin,
Yes.
and Colin O'Donoghue as Hook.
Okay.
Now this is kind of the cast that has been a constant, but like Hook didn't come in until the second season.
Right.
I
but
think
there
the
are
third, maybe.
so
Actually.
many characters.
Yes. And
And-
there are
Yeah.
a lot of recurring.
A lot of recurring. And the other thing that they do is, well, in the beginning, they did whole season was, it's 24 or 22 episodes a season.
22.
In the
22.
beginning, a whole season, like the first 2 years, 22 episodes. That was one story arc. Now they do a really great thing that I think a lot of TV shows should learn from that are on this network of 22 episodes, 24 episodes. They split it. So you know how they take the mid-season hiatus on a lot of shows? They do a different story. So the first half of the season might be all about Frozen. The second half is about whatever, Peter Pan.
It was about the
But they split the season in
Cruella
2 parts.
DeVille and
Oh, yeah.
Right, the evil queens, whatever.
Maleficent and
So this is something
Ursula.
that I think is
Yeah.
brilliant that this show does because it makes it, you don't need spin-offs because spin-offs, they tried it and it failed.
They
We
did
liked it.
try a spin-off.
Right, I'm saying they tried
Once-
it and it failed.
Once Upon a Time in Wonderland.
But see the way their model is now,
Yep.
they could have done Once Upon a Time in Wonderland as one of their 6-month things and kept the audience more engaged.
right.
Yeah.
Okay. Favorite character.
Oh.
Well, wait. She had more information. How many episodes are we at?
99
Oh, Edward.
99
You failed
episodes,
us.
and there has been 5 seasons.
Yes. And when it comes back next week, episode 100, lots and lots of stuff happens in this episode. No
Yes.
spoilers. But characters, I will tell you one thing. A lot of characters die on this show. There's one of the major characters is back in episode 100. And I'm not telling you who, but it's really
I think I might
fantastic.
Don't tell.
I don't know. I just think I might.
So, okay, we got that out. Go ahead, Mel. Tell us about the show.
Once Upon a Time is an American fairy tale dramatic series that premiered on October 23rd, 2011 on ABC. The show takes place in the fictional seaside town of Storybrooke, Maine, whose residents are characters from various fairy tales transported to the real world town and robbed of their real memories by a powerful curse. Episodes typically feature a primary storyline in Storybrooke, as well as a secondary storyline from another point in a character's life before the curse was enacted. It borrows elements and characters from Disney films and popular Western fairy tales, including Jack and the Beanstalk, Hansel and Gretel, Little Red Riding Hood, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, The Wonderful Wizard of Oz, Pinocchio, Fantasia, Cinderella, Alice in Wonderland, Peter Pan, Sleeping Beauty, 101 Dalmatians, The Sword and the Stone, Robin Hood,
Keeps going.
The Little
She's gonna
Mermaid,
pass out.
Beauty and the Beast, Hercules, Mulan, Tangled, Brave, and Frozen.
Well, that was episode 4. Now go on to 5.
Yeah.
Now here's another
Once
interesting
upon a
thing.
time-
Well, that's probably good.
I want to interject. She just mentioned all these Disney things and all the fairy tales that it
that's
references. And when they do the characters that Disney has done, they try to make them so that they kind of dress the way the characters from the Disney things are. There's a lot of attributes, but they have changed them. But the other thing that they have skated around with is other, I'm going to say, public domain stories. So like Frankenstein is in this, or a Frankenstein story is in this. They have done a little bit of that where it's like you watch it and you go, wait, how does this fit? Well, it kind of does. And they did that to establish that there are other realms. And it's pretty cool.
Yes. Okay.
Do you want to talk about your favorite episode, favorite season, or favorite character?
I loved Regina.
We love
Regina's your
Regina.
favorite. She was the
Regina
wicked.
and
The evil queen
She's the
in
evil queen
Snow
from
White.
Snow White.
Yeah.
Regina and Emma and Snow and Hook and Henry.
So everybody. Okay.
Yes.
You like them all.
You
Well,
just
what was
checked
your-
all of the above.
What was your favorite storyline so far?
Oh, I love Frozen.
Frozen.
The Frozen
Yeah.
storyline. The Frozen storyline is interesting. So they bring the characters from Frozen in. They really wrote it as if it was kind of a sequel to the movie Frozen.
And they
So it
look
took place-
exactly like the people.
Yes, they did
yeah,
great
they did an
casting.
amazing job. Did you see that season of? Did you? No.
Well, we
okay.
won't
We're
spoil
not
it.
Spoiling.
But I will say what's
It was the best
interesting
one, I think.
is
that
they
we've
don't
seen.
just go, this is a sequel to Frozen and this is the events of Frozen. They bring in other characters. So
Yeah.
the character of the Snow Queen, which is a Hans Christian Andersen story, is in the Frozen storyline and adds elements that you're like, wow, this is really cool, like really cool mashup of what's going on. They did the same thing when they brought Jack and the Beanstalk in, and you had the giant, who was named Tiny, who was
I love Anton.
he was Hurley from Lost. If
Well,
anybody
that's
watched
because
Lost,
Damon Lindelof is one of the
well,
producers.
yeah, Damon Lindelof is one of the producers, and you see a lot of Losties in this, like Emily DeRaven, who is Belle.
Mhm,
She was, I can't think of her name on Lost. She was the one that Sawyer was with.
mhm.
No, not Sawyer. Charlie. Charlie was with her. I can't remember her name, but
Mhm.
it's interesting. Like you see that, and there'll be guest stars, and you're like, oh, because the Snow Queen was my favorite from Lost. It was Elizabeth Mitchell,
Oh yeah,
and she was great on this.
she played
The Snow Queen.
on Lost. She played.
It's
Dairy
been a
Queen.
while. We should binge worthy watch
I guess I'm
Lost.
doing that. Okay, I gotta look.
I
them up.
can't remember anybody's name.
I have
Juliet. She was
I-
Juliet.
Yeah, Juliet.
I
That
have a
was
fun.
it.
Juliet, one of my favorite characters ever on a show.
You have a fun fact.
Yes.
And
Fun
you
fact.
Just called it that. Okay, go ahead.
Yes, I seriously just called it that.
Let's hear it.
Snow White, the actress who plays Snow White, and the actor who plays Prince Charming are actually married.
In real life.
and they have a
Yes.
baby. They had a baby last season
Yeah.
in real life.
Yeah, like
Last
yeah,
season,
if you
when
watched
the characters had a baby.
if
Yeah.
you watched the actress who plays Snow White over last season, there was no way that was prosthetics. She was pregnant. You
Yeah.
can tell.
Yeah.
And in the beginning
They
of the
were trying
season,
to hide it.
they were trying to hide it, and we would crack up because she was supposed to be doing this sword fighting thing, and they put these like big furry coats on. And you're like, they're trying to make it look like she's got this giant coat on. You're like, there's a lot of Snow White still going on in there.
she's
Yeah.
pregnant.
She was so pregnant.
Emily D. Ravine played Claire
Claire, yes,
on
I'm
Lost.
We need to binge some Lost.
Yeah, exactly.
So what else, Molly? So you love all the characters.
Yeah.
You love the Frozen storyline. What's your favorite location? They go to different locations. They were in
Yeah,
Wonderland,
I love the Enchanted Forest.
the Enchanted Forest.
So I think that's my favorite.
The Enchanted Forest is when they flash back to what happened before the curse. It's where all the fairy tale characters lived. That's also where you find out there's that crossover to the Frankenstein story, and you find out, oh, there are like these different realms.
Yeah.
And Rumpelstiltskin was dealing with the characters in Victorian, so like he dealt with the Frankenstein time period
Mhm.
because he was crossing realms, and then another realm would be now with Storybrooke.
Yeah.
That's your favorite. How about you, Mark?
Well, there's also Neverland
Oh yeah.
and
Neverland was pretty awesome.
Wonderland.
Yeah. I kind of love all the realms, but I think
Oh.
Enchanted Forest was my favorite.
I think my favorite was the Frozen where they came from. I forget the name of their town.
Arendelle. or
Arendelle.
whatever.
Arendelle.
Did they? I don't remember them going there. Did they go
Yeah.
there? See, I don't remember that.
Yeah,
I
they
like
went there.
that
Oh,
one.
that was so pretty.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
Area.
Yeah.
I liked when they went to Neverland mostly because the way that story unfolded, you found out that Peter actually, spoiler, is not a very good guy.
He's evil.
And Hook actually is
Don't
not as
tell
bad as
why,
you
though.
think. But there's this great thing when they go, remember in the cartoon how they had Skull Island and they showed Skull Island and you're like, oh, the pirates are there?
Yep.
Well, in this, Skull Island is actually the source of the magic for Neverland. So when they go there, you find out they go inside the skull and you see the source of magic. And I thought
it's
that was
this
like,
giant hourglass.
yeah, it was like a
really
giant hourglass and it
cool.
was all glowing. I thought that was all amazing. The woman who plays Tinkerbell in that,
Oh, I love
Rose
She was great.
McIntyre, I think. I liked Tinkerbell in it, but she's full-sized because she lost her magic because of something she had done.
Mhm.
She
Because
is...
she helped Regina.
Yes, she helped Regina. She is the lead in the show iZombie, which I have been binging and is surprisingly fantastic. Isn't it great? And the thing is, I thought, zombie show, CW. It is not. It is not what you think. And it
Hey,
is
don't get distracted.
almost,
We're talking about Once Upon a
but it is almost acceptable for
That's
Molly.
another
Right, that's-
episode.
Well, I just want to say that for somebody who likes the crossover, I want Molly to see the show because it's Tinkerbell, and I think she would really dig what's going on in this. I'm back on track.
Mhm.
What do you got, Molly?
That was actually it.
Nah.
Well, there is a graphic novel that I just found at the library.
Yeah, well, Once Upon a Time is on ABC. It's owned by Disney. What a surprise. They own
But
almost everything.
Marvel put it out.
And Marvel
They
is
got
owned
Marvel,
by
too.
Disney.
Oh, that's why.
So they are doing a very
All right,
smart
then.
thing in crossing over into into comics with their properties.
But because there are
But-
so many stories they haven't explained.
Well, and instead of doing crappy adaptations, it's the real writers of the show involved. It's like when Buffy the Vampire Slayer was canceled, Joss Whedon has gone on and created like season 7, 8, 9 as comic books, and they call them season 7. It's season 7 of Buffy, but they're only in comic book form. They're written by him. They're really good. And you
Actually,
don't have to worry about actors aging out or anything like that. That's what they're doing here. And was it good? You read it today.
yeah, it was really good. And actually, every chapter is drawn by someone else.
Oh, really?
It's a different.
Oh,
artist
you know
every
I'm
chapter.
gonna love that.
Did
Yeah, the
you know
artwork's
any
great.
of the artists, Molly?
No.
Did you recognize anybody's names?
I do.
Who?
I actually recognize Michael Del Mundo and Mike Henderson and John Roush. I know all of those names. These are all really good. Michael Kaluta too. Very good. Yeah, this is cool. This is really cool. Once again, I like when there's a connection between the intellectual property and the adaptations, because it used to be like I used to always love the comic adaptations of stuff. When they expanded the universe, a lot of times it started to fall off real quickly.
Right.
Marvel's Star Wars series did not. It was awesome. I loved it when I was a kid. It's still fun to read those. They've done their new Star Wars line is amazing because it's owned by Disney. They're Marvel books and they own Star Wars. That's what they're doing here. They're making really great stuff. I can't wait to read this. This is big time on my radar. So what's the story of this?
Well, okay, I wish there was some.
You can just tell us a general. You said it was about.
Which character is it based on?
Well, it's based on the Huntsman.
Okay.
The Huntsman
and Regina.
And the Evil Queen. Is it in the fairy tale land or is it in Storybrooke?
It's in fairy tale land. Okay,
so it's like a flashback story. So
yes.
she's evil.
Oh, evil.
Awesome.
And she's trying to kill Snow White.
Yeah.
So remember Red is a werewolf? She found a pack of Red's pack of werewolves.
Oh.
The one where Red kills her the mother that was the leader of the pack. And,
Spoiler
sorry.
alert.
Yeah.
Sorry. So if you haven't seen the show, start binging.
She binge fast because she's
going to spoil everything.
But yes, and so the werewolves are trying to kill Snow White.
Cool.
Yes, and Red and the Huntsman are helping Snow White.
All right. You're not telling the end.
Oh man. Oh, I can't wait to read this thing. We might have to do an episode just based on this. Yeah, they do this really cool thing.
Do they have other books?
This is the first one.
This is the first one.
And it was new at the library, so it's got to be brand new.
Yeah, let me look up the date.
But what an interesting thing they do on the show is they control each other. The evil characters will control the good characters. And there's magic and things, but you can tell the big evil ones will take somebody's heart out. They'll go like this, and it's almost like that, Indiana Jones thing, only not as graphic.
Wait, this was filmed. This was first printed in 2013, and it's the only
we should
one?
look. There might be more.
Are you
don't
sure?
know.
Okay.
There was only one there.
Okay.
But they pull out their heart. It's just, they show it on the back here.
Yeah.
You can see Regina. It's like a glowing heart. And they'll sit there and they'll talk into it and control the character. So like she'll have somebody's heart and say, she wants, the big bad wolf to say to Jiminy Cricket, that's my sweater. And she'll say, that's my sweater. And he'll just he doesn't really zombie it. He just kind of says it. But as a viewer, you'll know oh my God, that character's getting controlled.
No,
right
you
now.
don't. But a lot of times you don't know.
No, you don't.
And then all of a sudden you go,
you'll guess. And
oh
then
my
you'll
gosh,
see,
what are they doing? Why are they doing this? Why are they acting? And then all of a sudden you go, oh my gosh.
And then you'll see Regina or one of them Rumple holding. And
it's not always obvious.
Now, Martha, who's your favorite character? Because I have two.
I would have to say Regina and Rumple.
Mine too. I think Regina might be number one because
Regina's insanely cool.
The
she is
greatest.
a great character, and she's well written, and she's hysterical. She has the best lines.
But Robert Carlyle.
I mean, how could you not love him?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Rumpelstiltskin. It's fantastic.
Yes.
And they do a whole thing
Mr.
where
Gold.
Yeah, Mr. Gold, but he is with Belle.
He is the Beast.
And they made him
the Beast.
The Beast. And they did a cool thing when they were in the Beast.
Spoiler.
No. They did a cool thing when they're in the Beast Castle, but he's just Rump. So his personality, his evilness is the Beast. And Belle is trapped.
Castle.
But in the background, there's stuff in the background, and you see this animal hide hanging over this thing, and the whole time we're watching, we're like, "That's the Beast. That's the hide."
He killed the Beast.
Yeah,
He took over the castle.
And Mr. Gold has an antiquities shop, and in there is all this stuff, and you'll watch. You're like, "There's the this."
Yeah, the further you get into the series, the more you start seeing
obvious. But the stuff is just there.
Yeah, like the marionettes. And
the marionettes were in an episode, and they're always in it, just sitting on a shelf in the shop. But every time you see it, you're like, those marionettes are actually people who he's got trapped in there. It's really weird. It's awesome.
You just gave a spoiler.
No, not a big one. Who cares?
He kind of did.
So, all right. So let's.
That was a spoiler.
Let's Nobody pays attention to me. Let's tell what we think, if it's binge worthy or not.
Binge worthy.
All right, unless you got more.
I'm good.
All right, so the way we do it is we say if it's binge worthy, if it's worth the watch, or if it sucks. Not worth it.
Well,
But
I don't think we call it that.
We
And
never
we
pick
also
one
have
that-
space it out.
Molly
if it's
calls
too-
it that, so I was trying to be,
No, I don't.
But then for binge worthy, we say binge worthy is watch it all at once or space it out. So
Okay.
let's start with you, Martha, because I know what
I
she's
have
going
a
to say.
comment first.
Okay.
I believe absolutely binge the heck out of it. I think it's fun.
Oh yeah.
I think it's very watchable. You can watch multiple episodes.
Don't have to space it out.
It's
Just go
much
for it.
harder when you're podcasting about it,
And
and
you
you
have
have
to
to
space
take
it out.
notes, and then you have to really space it out. But when you're just watching it, it's very fun
Just
to
like-
just binge.
Boom, boom, boom.
But
With season 1.
I have heard from a lot of people that they stopped watching in season 2.
Oh, really?
And they never picked it up again. And I'd say, oh my gosh, watch it again. Because when you get to Frozen, especially when you get to Frozen
Yeah.
storyline, it is so fantastic, so well done. They did not cheap out. The characters, it was like they literally walked off the cartoon. Like
Yeah,
they
don't
made
give
them
up.
human. It
after
was
2.
amazing. So
You know why it might have too? Because the story at that point, the first 2 seasons are very tied together.
mhm.
They're all pretty much Storybrooke, one story. It's not until season 3 when they start doing that.
Neverland. People didn't
start-
like Neverland.
They didn't like when they went to Neverland,
That was my favorite.
and that's where they fell off. But if
it
you,
was just too long.
it was at that point when they started going to Neverland and Frozen, and they started doing this every 6 months, a different story. I think it got a lot better then. And even
Yes.
though
Yeah.
I did love those first 2 seasons, we loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So highly recommend that people
And
try
when
it
you see
again.
What the actors are saying, they're always like, "Oh, the first 2 seasons are my favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were
And
the most
go
fun."
back to, if you want to skip the 3rd season, whatever, but
Don't.
start at 4.
No, don't, because there's some really great stuff in it. It's just tough it out. If you're not liking it, just tough it out. It's not bad.
It gets
But
good.
there's stuff that
Yeah.
happens in there that is so
Mhm.
fun to see later.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Especially
So that's all I wanted.
that
I wanted to make
Rumpelstiltskin
sure
stuff.
that that was addressed, because I know that
Cool.
that's that a lot of people are blocked from it and thinking I don't want to pick it up again. But it's really, really well done.
yeah. So all right. So you say binge the
Binge
heck
it.
out of it. Molly, what do you say?
Binge it.
Just power through.
Yes.
99 episodes.
Yes.
You know what? I'm going to say the same thing. I think this is one of those shows that a lot of times the way I approach these is I'll say you want to binge the heck out of it, but you might want to pause between seasons. You know, like even we're watching Shameless, and we watch a season, and I was like, okay, we'll stop after 1 season, and then we went, yeah, let's keep going. Okay, and but my recommendation might be stop after a season, let your desire to go back to it build up. This,
Just keep going.
just keep
Yeah.
going. This is one of those. Just binge the heck out of this thing.
Mhm.
And you
It's
catch
just
more
so
things.
fun. Yes,
Like-
you do.
You what?
Yeah.
You catch a lot more.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, if you're watching it right through, you're going to catch a ton. And there are little Easter eggs through every episode.
And
you
the-
start seeing things and you go,
Yeah.
"Oh my gosh, did you notice that?"
the
That was
heartbreaks in this, the feels are
Yes.
so devastating at times.
Yeah.
I think if you don't binge it that way, you might hurt. And you
Yeah.
might actually
Yeah.
pull away and be like, I can't go back to that because my favorite character died. And then you go back and you're like, sometimes that's
So
harder to go
good.
back to. If you just go, I'm going to just keep going, it's okay. It's okay. I'm totally binge worthy. So
And then
all
you
three
see
of
your
us,
favorite character again.
yeah,
Mhm.
all 3 of us, full on binge it.
Yep.
All right. So it's official. That's what we gave it for this week for Once Upon a Time. Audience, those of you that have watched it, do you agree with us? Yes? There's a lot of head nodding, a lot of cookie eating. All right. Everybody said yes.
Craig,
Nobody said no.
You've watched them.
Yeah, I think you should.
Yay.
Yeah, and I suggest if you binge our podcast with it,
Binge
because
99 episodes.
it is pretty fun. We actually have listened to that because Molly likes to listen to those old episodes. I actually enjoy listening to the podcast because it's fun to hear not only the progression of Molly, But the things like in the beginning, we didn't
forget
know
all
things.
of it.
Oh,
yeah.
So we're saying, oh, I think this character is this, and oh, this character is it. We're
and
completely
it's really
wrong.
funny, and you're like, we could not be further off.
Yeah.
But so if you're watching,
fun.
if you're binging for the first time, you can listen to each episode, and we're binging it for the first time with you on the podcast.
Yeah.
So we are not spoiling anything because we have not seen it. So
yeah.
it's pretty funny. But the
podcast is called Ever After.
A Once Upon a Time podcast.
Yes.
The other thing is we started that podcast in November when Molly was 6.
Yep.
And we had to binge
This was brutal.
66 episodes before September when the new season started.
Right.
Because we had to catch up. We had missed 3 seasons.
With a 6-year-old. And we were like, we thought it was like, well, Martha thought it was like a season. I knew it was 3, but I was thinking,
how hard could it
it's
be?
going to be like a BBC show. It's going to be like 12 episodes.
No.
66
22 episodes.
Freaking episodes.
So this kid did 66 episodes. She would get up. We did sometimes, 6 in a day. Like
Right.
she would just get up and go, come on, we're behind. Get on there.
We didn't do it every
it on.
day.
Oh my
We would
gosh.
batch 'em.
Oh,
But when we would batch them, she was like,
let's
she
go
was on it.
next.
And like I
next.
said, she's the host. She created it. So it was like she was driving the bus. We were like,
Yep.
okay,
you
we'll do
did
it.
you name it?
Yes.
So yeah, so it's when you listen to it, knowing that she was 6 years old when we started,
And now I'm 8.
but you're almost 9.
So
Yeah,
I'm going to say our podcast is binge worthy too.
yeah. But when you know that, and you imagine this is 66 in a very short,
Yeah.
in just a handful of months.
No, it was worse than that because we also did Once Upon a Time in Wonderland while
which
we were
was
doing
13
that.
episodes.
That was
Yes.
another 13 episodes.
And we were doing Doctor Who.
We did 79 episodes.
She did 100 episodes by
In
the
the
time
first
she
year.
was within 1 year. But from then to
Yes.
total, she did
Yes.
100.
And she got featured on, there's a podcast called Succotash that
What?
features like the funniest podcast moments that they come across. We didn't submit anything. I just got an email we got a tweet or something that said, hey, we featured you this week. And we thought, oh, I wonder what this is. And we listened to it, and it was all Molly saying funny stuff on Once Upon a Time. and the guy who hosted it was like, I've been doing this for 3 years, and I haven't done 100 episodes. This 6-year-old has done 100
He
episodes.
said he did it in 4 years, and he's like, she did it in like 1 year.
Yeah. And
He's like, I'm really something.
and he's like, and she's actually funny. And she was. It was really good. All right, enough about us. Enough about her. Let's end it. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for listening to Binge Worthy. We'll be back next week. Thank
This
you.
counts as
Blue
an ever
Box.
after episode.
Yeah. Or are you sitting in the middle? You're gonna what now?
It's going to sit up on the table. He's got a table dance. Can a Chris get a table dance? All right. Thank you. Thank you, Edward. Oh, you're taking everything? He wants a tip. Here's a tip. Don't keep waiting.
What? Yes.
All right. Are we getting anything on Meerkat?
Are you nervous?
Nothing.
Ed?
Is anybody on
Word?
YouTube? Weird. And Periscope, it's very low tonight. Usually we've had everything up to a few thousand people watching on a given night. I think tonight it's just too nice out. So everybody will watch it